If you are thinking about starting a marketing agency or you're in the trenches growing one right now, this video will change how you think about everything from pricing your first client to how to keep your business alive over the next decade. Jake Baadsgaard, the person I'm interviewing in this video, is an agency unicorn. He has kept his agency not only alive, but thriving at $25 million a year for almost 2 decades, all starting with just a couple of free trial clients. And while we talked for over an hour in the full podcast, I wanted to clip this bit because it's the best advice for agency owners, specifically from a $25 million a year agency owner. So you're about to hear how Jake landed some of the biggest companies in the US as clients, including Guitar Center, why most agencies are focused on the complete wrong things and how to fix that, and how he's kept some team members over 10 years at his agency, which is pretty much unheard of. If you like what you see in this clip, do yourself a favor and watch the entire podcast. It'll be linked below. And with all that said, take it away, Jake.
The hot place to work at when I graduated was Omniture. The first few years of my career, I just helped some of the largest companies in the world integrate their marketing data with their customer data so that we could see what was actually translating into revenue and profitability for them. And so that was like the hard skill set that I developed. And then I'm like, okay, if I'm working with American Express or John Deere or Home Depot or whatever, and like if these big companies don't even know how to do this stuff, like what's the small and medium-sized business doing? The first name of the business, I just thought I'd be a freelancing analytics consultant was my big entrepreneurial idea. Time and time again, I would freelance for free for the company I worked at in college or other ones, and it would work really well. I'm like, here's exactly how you should spend your money. But inevitably, they would say, that's cool. We don't have the bandwidth or even know how to implement what you're telling us. Can you just do that for us? And so that's how I got into the marketing scene through data was, okay, now that the data is telling us what to do, they didn't know how to implement it. And so I just started learning how to implement those things. And that's how it went from an analytics consulting to a performance marketing agency that differentiates by getting good data as the foundation.
So you start getting these freelancing contracts. What are you charging? How does that snowball? And when do you quit your job?
My first client I charged for free. The second client I charged for free. And it was more like, these are people that I love and already have a relationship with, and I just want to help them win with their business. And both of those turned into great contracts for me. One of my first clients was who I worked at in college. They became a couple grand a month to a few grand a month to a $30,000 a month contract. And then one of my good friends and contacts that I'd worked with at Adobe had moved on, and I just helped him out for free to help him be successful in his new job. And then it ended up turning into a contract with Guitar Center as one of my first clients as well. It was fun to just see, I'm not doing this to try and I just want to help. I just want to see these people win because they're people I care about.
Yeah.
And then it just turned into contracts. And so I officially quit my full-time job that also turned into a client because he had a good experience with me as well in September of 2013. And I had built my book of business to about $30,000 a month of revenue.
So once you went full time, were you like pounding the pavement trying to get more deals, or was it really growing organically at that point?
Both, because I was personally involved with all of our clients and I did great work. It was not uncommon to get referrals. And then I started going to like local networking events, just hustling. I'm an extroverted guy anyway. And so just started doing those things and found myself doing marketing for a lot of these small businesses weren't really ideal for exactly what I did, but I thought it would be. And so I found myself working in a lot of situations that was working very well, and a bunch of others where I'm like, we're just trying to get any client we can at this point, but kind of finding which ones actually worked for us and which ones didn't.
Got it. Just as an ads marketing agency guy, I'm really interested in the deliverable you were giving to these people. So what was the secret sauce of you're looking at, okay, click to page view to leads and then conversion, and you're really drilling into each one of those and optimizing the whole process? And who did you discover who was the ideal client during that time? What were they doing in revenue, and what was the pitch to them? Like, hey, we can take you from 100 grand to 500, or did that not matter as much as the mindset?
At the time, I was so specialized in the service that I provided that it was paid search and some retargeting is all I was doing. Okay. And so I could go in and within 20 minutes, I did this manually for a while and then built a software that would do it for me. I could conduct an audit to determine what percentage of their advertising dollars in Google were actually driving revenue for them or not.
Wow.
And over the first number of years of the business, I had formally audited over 2,000 accounts, and on average, 76% of their budget was producing nothing for them. And that doesn't mean the other 24% was profitable. So I could pretty quickly show them what you're spending is not efficient and it's not working very well for you.
So it's like a Hyros for Google Ads.
So that's what we would do, and that's what would close the deal pretty well.
Nice.
That audit only worked if they had sufficient data for me to look at it.
Fair.
Okay. And so like the sweet spot kind of became, hey, minimum, you got to be spending 10 grand a month on your ads for us to be able to give you any sort of confidence in what we can do.
Mm-hmm.
And our sweet spot was probably in that $10,000 to $50,000 a month of spend. And then we had a few large enterprise contracts that came from my personal network, but that was probably more of our sweet spot client of, hey, on Google, you should be spending at least $10,000 to $50,000 a month, and then we'd be a good fit for you.
Yeah.
Versus like, we're trying it for the first time. We're a newer business. Let's see how this goes. And those were the ones where we kept running into issues.
Yeah. The churn's super high.
Yeah.
Super emotional. Yeah.
Yeah. Sky high expectations, bottom level budgets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But what a pitch. Like I was just thinking about this last week. Like pitching and making sales with data is so much easier than like emotionally trying to push somebody into a decision. It's just like, hey, 75% of your dollars are literally getting flushed down the drain here.
Yeah.
You're like, there's a very clear problem. The fix is we're gonna optimize your pages and make sure that the keywords are optimized, etc. Or was there anything else in there that
Yeah.
was
Yeah. Simplistically, it was 1 to 1 to 1. Are you targeting the right keywords that are driving you revenue? Is your ad copy matching appropriately to what they're looking for? And then are you giving them a consistent experience on the website
okay?
so that throughput is like butter, like it's
Yeah.
just easy. It makes sense. And I always think of online marketing like herding cats at
Mhm.
Walmart. You just got to make it so obvious
Yeah.
what they've got to do that they don't have to think.
Yeah.
Right. And so that was typically what we were looking for. And paid search is so bottom of the funnel, someone looking to make a buying decision on average.
Yeah.
That's where we would clean it up and get that. So the expansion was, hey, I'm just optimizing your account,
Yeah.
but I don't have good pages to point people to on your website.
Yeah.
So that's when we introduced Unbounce is the tool that we would use
Nice.
and still use actually for some clients. But hey, we need to build pages that will convert the traffic that we're sending, because even if we make the right optimizations and you've got a bad website experience, it's not going to work.
So 2013 to 2020 is kind of like the golden age of disruptive advertising, right?
Yeah.
In terms of like you working full time in that business and like growing it to what it is today. When you look back at those 7 years, what sticks out as like the 2 to 3 things that really moved the needle for you and for clients?
As far as the business is concerned, being able to move beyond founder-based sales is what
Yeah.
opened up a lot of growth. And having something, an offer and a funnel that was simple enough that I could hand it off to other people and they could close the deals and we could grow. So I feel like that's what unlocked a lot of our growth. Getting more clear about who we wanted to work with. Do we want to work with these proof of concept businesses? Do we want to work with more established small to medium size businesses? I would say those are the things that made the biggest difference.
I look at a business like yours and I scratch my head at how an agency gets so big because they're so like service and labor intensive, especially before the age of AI. And you can SOP things and you can systematize them, but there's just so much human capital that you have to caretake in an agency. So you've bootstrapped to like 20, 25 million, but you've again stayed profitable that whole time. You've been taking home great checks since you started. How have you made sure that your owner pay stays where you want it to be and made sure that your employees are motivated and just kept an ad agency alive for this long?
There are times where I'm like, I have no idea how this has all worked out. Like honestly, I'm like, the fact that it works at all sometimes just feels like a miracle to me.
Yeah.
But what I would say is one of my love languages is like gift giving.
Sure.
And so I've always been willing to not capitalize my benefit up front to make sure that everyone else is winning first.
Mm.
Because when they're winning, and then I get the long play on that, right? And so that's where I said it's about, when I started the age, I did not take a salary when I started the agency. And so that I could invest that money in hiring people, investing in growth, doing those types of things. I even loaned the company some money, so I had some operating capital to do that. And I feel like doing that saved me a couple of years and that's why I was so grateful to not overextend myself.
Yeah.
Because I feel like one of my competitive advantages is I don't have other partners outside of my wife in the business that I have to keep happy financially.
Yeah.
And we grew up with a and like, look, we live a great lifestyle, but it's like we grew up with a conservative background. So I look at all those things and I'm like, I usually have like 2 to 3 year investment cycles where I'm like, I'm giving a lot more than I'm getting. And then I have 2 to 3 years where I get a lot back in return. But then I usually I like to be as generous as I can with that. And we regularly celebrate 10-year anniversaries here, and that is not common at an ad agency.
Yeah, no,
Like,
not at
that's
all.
just not common. And I do option packages for my executive team, and
Okay.
I've had people come and go that I am their exit liquidity. Hey, thanks for helping me build it. We've increased the enterprise value of the business. I will buy your stock back, type thing. And so people, I feel like my wins are very tied to how much the people that are here are winning.
Mm.
And that's how I tried to approach it. And I think that's why it's worked as well as it has.
Let's say 2 years of you at the beginning loading the company money and just being able to, like, hire great talent and focus on things going in the right direction. Like, it's just like you rolled a ball and it has kept rolling in some ways, right?
Yep.
You guys have maintained a 10+ year track record of amazing growth, worked with some awesome clients, all that type of thing. What problems do agencies get themselves into over and over again that you see in the industry that doesn't allow them to do that same thing?
I think saying yes to too many things, that's just a great way to burn out and
Yeah.
not do anything. I think most agencies focus on keeping their clients happy rather than growing them. And it is not my goal to keep my clients happy. It is my goal to help them succeed and to win and bring new ideas to the table. And when we've struggled and when I see other agencies struggle the most, it's like, how do I just be great at customer service and keep you happy and say yes to everything you ask, to the point where we're making no money, we're stressed out of our minds, and it's not driving results for you. And then it still ends anyway.
Yeah. It's like hey, here's your welcome gift, a bunch of cookies and brownies, and we're gonna, like, respond to you within 5 minutes every time. But when you look at the balance sheet every month or the
Yep.
ROI statement, it's just not there. Do you have an example of a client who was struggling because of, let's say, sales, operations, HR, something out of your locus of control as the agency? And how did you help them overcome that hurdle so that you could help them win?
There's some really common situations like this that come up. Number one, what do you value, revenue growth or profitability? Because they will inevitably come at odds with each other. And most say growth until the margin isn't there. And they
Yeah.
say, but margin, but growth, but margin, but growth. And that's where I walk them through understanding you invest in growth and margin catches up. Because if you can't approach it that way, you will not grow. If you want to grow 40% this year on the same marketing budget you had last year, we're not the right agency for you. You know what I mean? Like, you want to grow 40%, we probably need to be spending 40% more on marketing today before the revenue's there
Yeah.
to get you there
For a year.
for a year.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. And they're like, well, I actually don't want to do that, because you value profitability more than you realize.
Mm.
So what is a growth goal that we can actually agree on that fits the sweet spot for you and where you're at with your business?
Yeah.
That would be the first one that I would highlight.
Going back to vision, right? Yeah.
The second one is especially for lead generation type businesses, is their sales team sucks. It's like they have a way of doing sales and the leads that we're driving don't fit quite into that. And it's like, dude, we are never going to help you hit your sales targets unless you are world class at working the leads that we drive into your system. And if you don't do that and aren't committed to figuring that out, we're not going to be the right agency for you, because we know we won't win with you. And then it's the same thing with e-commerce. E-commerce, the brands that say, I need to hit a specific ROAS, are the brands that are losing right now. Like, bad. It's like a drought for these businesses because they're not filling their funnel. And they're just trying to squeeze and squeeze and squeeze the bottom of the funnel until there's nothing left. And it's like, yeah, we've hit your profitability target, but your volume is dying. And now your fixed costs, all of these other challenges. The two things that I see e-commerce businesses needing to do more of is understanding how to effectively fill a funnel. And that is a little bit more of an investment up front, but working those through into purchases. And then having loss leader products that Guitar Center was a client of mine. You think they make money on guitar picks online? It's like they've got products that they sell to bring customers in, but they're making money when you buy the amp with them or the nice guitar, or they've got these other things that now you're a customer and getting you to buy again. And again and again is where you win. And so e-commerce businesses that say, I've got to suck the bottom of the funnel dry and and I need to be profitable on the first sale. And I'm like, good luck, man. We're not the right agency for you.
And when did you, like, before you had the acumen that you have today, did that just, like, you brought on these clients probably without the right expectations? You weren't able to say, look, we're not the right agency for you because of sales team, you want to squeeze the bottom of the funnel, operations, whatever. How do you go about learning that if you don't know it yet? And what did you do in the early stages to kind of help out what you didn't know?
A natural gift I have is discernment. The hard skill I developed before starting my business was data. And so I do feel like this is something that I had like a leg up or a jump start. in
Yeah.
this area. I would say most marketers don't have that, and most agencies don't have that when they're starting out or younger. And it's don't be afraid to learn through trial and error. Again, what I mentioned to you earlier is I don't like people paying the price for my mistakes. I just always tried to be really transparent with clients when I'm like, I actually don't know if this will work, and I'm willing to test it with you. And in some situations, you don't pay me until it works, or I actually don't know. And for this to be worth it for me to give it a shot with you, you're going to need to pay me and know that it may
Yeah.
not work for you. And so that's where it's like, yeah, and there's plenty of trial and error and all of that. But I think the more transparent you are, you're at least going to be on the same page with expectations. And if you
Yeah.
don't close the deal because they're like, you've got to guarantee the results, then it's just like,
Yeah.
we can have the hard conversation now or painful months later. I'd rather just have it now.
Yeah. One of the goated pitches ever is, I have no idea if this is going to work. Do you want to work with me? And they're like, you're the only person that said that.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.